First thing you're going to need to do is remove these stickers. I'm using some sharp tweezers to remove them. If you don't care about poking a hole in them, you could always just poke a hole to reveal 2 T9 Torx bits. You'll only be needing a T9 Torx bit to disassemble the Xbox Series S. Some tools I'll be using to clean this Xbox is a vacuum, some paper towels, and some isopropyl alcohol, and also a small little brush. It only takes about 10 to 30 minutes to disassemble the Series S. If your Xbox isn't too dirty, you may only need to disassemble the outer shell. After you take off the 2 screws, you're going to need to slide this panel up. After you slide it up, then pull it slightly towards you. Taking that panel off will reveal 7 green screws that you need to take off. You don't need to worry about the location of these screws as they are all the same length. After you take out those 7 screws, you should be able to remove the internal part of the Xbox. Lift up on the sides like this, and then pull up to remove that outer shell. If you inspect the internal vents in this metal case and you don't see any dust, you may only need to clean the outer shell and not dive any deeper. If you do see dust inside the vents in the metal case, you do need to take it apart further. We're now going to need to remove 3 circuit boards on the side of the Xbox. This is one of the 3 circuit boards. After you remove this screw, it has a connector underneath, so you're going to have to pull up slightly. This is the second circuit board, and same thing, there's a connector underneath, so after you remove the 3 screws, you're going to have to pull up slightly. All 3 of these circuit boards have different screw hole patterns, so you shouldn't be able to mess this up when putting it back together. This is the last circuit board that is on the side of the Xbox. You can also see dust in my metal case on the side right there. This is why I'm taking apart my Xbox. Now you're going to remove these 10 screws that are on the Xbox. After you remove the screws, you should be able to take the case apart. These screws were also all the same length, so don't worry about the location of where they were. Now you should be able to pry with your fingers and take the 2 halves apart. When you do start to pry apart, you're going to want to make sure the side where you see the fan is facing towards you, as all the electronics are on the other side of the case. You can see my fan is dirty, and here I'm using a little brush and a vacuum to take off any big chunks of dirt/dust. After you vacuum the surface areas off, you should be able to take out the PSU. You can see my PSU has dust on the side, so I'm going to use a vacuum to clean off this dust. I'm not going to take apart the PSU as I don't feel comfortable doing it yet. As you can see, I cleaned it off and it looks pretty clean. Next thing I'm going to do is clean this fan. Usually this fan is one of the dirtiest parts in the Xbox. Now you can see this radiator slash cooler thing also has some dust. Here I'm going to use a vacuum and a small brush to clean off this area. Also, with most videos I've seen, people usually unplug the fan on the Series S. It's not a mandatory thing, as you could still clean the fan while it's still connected. What I'm using here is some isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel to clean the dust off on the fan. When cleaning the Xbox, you want to make sure you never use water, as it could cause some issues and rust to build up. After you've cleaned your fan, you should be able to put it back in. After I put the fan back on, I'm going to clean the circuit board here. You have to be extra careful to prevent any damage happening on the board. I'm using my small brush and lightly sweeping away. After you've cleaned that area, you should be able to put the PSU back. Right here, I forgot to tuck the wire on the fan, so make sure you tuck it back in to its original area. To clean this case, you can use some isopropyl alcohol on a paper towel and a vacuum. After you've cleaned it, put it back on carefully and make sure you don't cause any damage or scratches. After you put that case back on, flip the Xbox over so you could put the screws back in. You're first going to need to put in these 10 screws back in. Go in a star-like pattern shape when screwing these in to have an even clamping force on the case. When screwing the bolts in a star-like pattern, you prevent the case from unevenly clamping back together. If it does unevenly clamp back together, you could cause damage to the case. After you do go in a star-like pattern, do a recheck and tighten them all back again. Now these don't have to be super tight, these are usually all hand tight. After you screw all the bolts back in, you're going to need to put the 3 circuit boards back on. When putting these circuit boards back on, make sure you align it straight to prevent damage to the connector. These are all also hand tight, so don't overscrew them. Overscrewing the circuit boards could cause damage to the board itself and the case. After you screw those 3 circuit boards back in, you can put the Xbox back in its plastic casing. Here I'm just doing a final vacuum to clean off any surface dust. You could also use some isopropyl alcohol to clean this area if you wanted to. Here I'm cleaning this cover. You could also use some isopropyl alcohol with a rag and a vacuum. Now I'm going to clean this case with some isopropyl alcohol and a vacuum. Now if you have dust on the actual vent holes, you could always use a toothpick and some Q-tips with isopropyl alcohol to clean them all out individually. When you are done cleaning these shells, make sure they're all dry. I'm also going to clean out the outside of the shells with some isopropyl alcohol and a vacuum. Here I am putting the Xbox back in its plastic shell. Putting it back in is slightly tricky. You may need to pull on the plastic shell on the side to put it back in. Make sure the USB that is at the front is in correctly. As you can see, I pushed the flaps out on the side slightly to put the Xbox in correctly. And it also has a groove. Make sure the backside of the Xbox gets into that groove. You can now put the 9 green screws back in. Same thing, do a star-like shape pattern. Start from the middle screw, then go out to the sides when doing the star shape pattern. These are all also hand tight. Don't overscrew them or you could damage the plastic shell. Double check the screws after to make sure they're all tight. After you get the screws back in, you can put the panel back on. First put it up on an angle and then you could put it down and slide. After you slide that panel back on, you could put on the last 2 screws. They are also both the same size, so you don't have to worry about the location of where they were originally. After you screw those bolts back in, you can attach the stickers that were originally on. Double check on them at the end to make sure they're both tight. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.